Hey guys, Brennan here. Just thought I'd give you an update with the Strait of Hormuz and what's happening with the U.S. in creating a blockade of the strait. Uh, it's it's not good, as per usual. But yeah, sorry, I'm a little sick, so if I sound a little off, that's why. Well, with blockades, they're not really a short-term thing. Like it's that's planned to be a medium to long-term kind of situation, and like with the U.S. basically coming out, like Donald Trump saying that they're gonna eradicate an entire civilization overnight. Who's to say if Iran will want to make a deal with the U.S. after after Donald Trump saying that? So we went from a few ships a day making their way in and out of the strait, and now we're having no ships going in and out. And it's the middle of April. We're getting real close to May here. Like, this is prime kind of fertilizing season right now. And those fertilizers are just not making it out of the strait. And it probably won't be for a while. And, same with natural gas, same with oil, refined petroleum products, sulfuric acid. All of that is not making it out of the strait. And so, with wars, usually pandemics are not far behind. And then there's likely to be famine as well. Those three are very correlated with one another. With war, like say with what happened with Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine was one of the bread baskets of Europe. That's where a lot of the fertilizer comes from, and also just food production. And so that was heavily impacted, and then that increased food prices around the world because a lot of production just disappeared. And before that was, well, the 2020 COVID pandemic. So we effectively had those three back to back to back, just on a kind of smaller scale. So with what's happening right now, it's bound to be much larger than what happened with COVID. So I think people really need to be more prepared for the future, for massive shortages, probably more war escalation, and probably famines. And there might even be another pandemic. Because what people need to understand is food is medicine. And if people don't have, if they're not eating enough, then their body's defenses are down, and then pandemics are just ripe for happening because of just the lack of food that people are ingesting. And then, of course, if this blockade goes on for a long time, which it probably will, then this affects the entire world. And then so this may even create a wider conflict with lots of different other countries and the U.S. And so people have a good chunk of the population, if not the majority, like to think that someone is going to be there for them and is going to be there to save them in their most vulnerable times. And I'm here to tell you, like, that's not the case. No one's coming to save you. You need to consider your own well-being and your own safety, along with the people in your life, their well-being and safety as well, and take steps accordingly to address those problems when they do arrive, which they most likely will. This war was supposed to take a few weeks, and now it's much longer than that. It's well over a month now. And so it'll probably continue to drag on, and we'll probably see boots on the ground pretty soon in Iran, with the U.S. military taking heed. It wasn't going to be a simple war, and it's not going to be, unfortunately. And a big reason why I don't really follow a lot of political talk around the war, and also just in general, is because politics nowadays seems to be a lot like the WWE. I used to be a huge wrestling fan, and I just stopped watching one day because I just couldn't take the phoniness of it. And that politics is a lot like professional wrestling, in the sense that you may have two characters that are butting heads with each other and creating a feud, but in actuality, behind the scenes, the feud is scripted with a creative team behind that feud. And so that's my thoughts on politics, and then also just whatever we're being briefed on with the war. It's really a match between like John Cena and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you know, where they hate each other, but in actuality they don't. But anyways, people really need to start, in my opinion, focusing on two very important pyramids when it comes to physical well-being and their wealth. And so real wealth in society is not a monetary value. It's what that money can buy you, you know? Like, the real wealth is the things that we have access to. And like, if you want to look at money as wealth, just look at Zimbabwe or Venezuela, where hyperinflation ravaged those countries, and there was no shortage of money, but shortages of everything else. So people really need to focus on two very important pyramids. One is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's the first pyramid. And then the second one is Exter's pyramid. And so I'll put a little diagram right here to explain to you that it's essentially a kind of two pyramids stacked on top of each other, except Exter's pyramid is flipped upside down. It's like an hourglass shape almost. And with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's the physiological, sorry, I don't think I said that right, but it's the physical needs you need on a daily basis. That's like the base. And then right above that is security. And then right above that is relationships. Right above that, self-esteem. And then right above that is self-awareness. And so the very bottom is the foundation, and from there it gets progressively smaller and smaller in terms of its importance. And with Exter's pyramid, at the bottom is gold, cash, bonds, stocks, real estate, derivatives, and it's positioned that way in terms of the size of those markets there. So gold being the smallest because it is a very small market in terms of everything else in the financial space. And really, people need to focus on, in my opinion, this is not financial advice, but once you have Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy, once you get that situated, then people need to focus on Exter's. Because if you don't, then you'll have missing chunks of these pyramids, and it's more likely to collapse on itself. Get your needs met. Make sure that you're prepared for when there are disruptions in the global supply chains, which there definitely will be. It's only a matter of time. Like, you can argue that, oh, well, you know, the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, but the gas prices have barely changed. And then at that point, I'd say, you know, I'm a holder of silver, and I'm very used to seeing the futures market, the spot price of silver, being constantly manipulated over the years. And it's been proven too, with, I think it was Goldman Sachs trading desk. They were found guilty of actually manipulating prices of silver and gold with their trading desk. So you can manipulate the price of oil by dumping a bunch of futures contracts onto the market and bringing down the price. So they won't be able to manipulate the prices forever. And at the same time, like, there's no way they're gonna make up the deficit in terms of supply of energy and whatever else that comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. Like, that'll have to change at some point. Prices will have to rise, and shortages are going to be a reality. And so people really need to, you know, start looking to meeting their own needs and possibly start buying more of what they'll need in the future. Now, I'm not saying go out there and start panic buying, because, like, look at what happened with a warehouse down in Ontario, California, where this warehouse had a bunch of paper products and it went up in flames. And so, personally, I don't believe the story behind it. You know, in the age of AI, I doubt that's what actually happened, because it's very suspicious that a warehouse full of the stuff that people fought over in COVID, toilet paper, just went up in flames right before massive shortages start to hit the world. So if people aren't fighting over toilet paper, what are they going to be fighting about in the stores at some point? So yeah, don't panic buy. Grab what you need a little bit here and there. You know, I've been a prepper over the years, so I've been grabbing small things every so often, and so I have enough to basically weather any storm if it does arrive, and I believe people should start to do the same. And, you know, if people started panic buying, then that gives these central planners and central governments all that more reason to start introducing digital IDs and CBDCs in order to curb and eliminate panic buying. So, for the love of God, don't do it, because it just gives them ammunition to roll these things out and start monitoring people and controlling them. So please don't. So thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please like it. It'll send it into the algorithm for more people to watch. And comment down below what you think, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I noticed a lot of you are not subscribed, so please do so to find out more content like this. I'm gonna try to release a video every 2 weeks, and yeah, build this channel and get some of this information out there. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.